What is going on, guys? It's your boy Haunter here, owner of the PCL and the weekly recap analyst, bringing you week 2 for the weekly recap. First off, guys, sorry for the layout. It takes time to do the layout. It took me about 2-3 hours to make the previous layout because I have to change the names for every team. I have to put the logos in. I have to make the fucking one of the matches gold, stuff like that. I just haven't had the time. I'm sorry, guys. I just have not had the time, and I don't think I will for a while, to be honest. I've got exams in about 4 weeks' time, so I'm very busy. Sorry, guys. I know it's not what you want to look at. I agree. If anyone wants something to look good for this league, it's me. And I'm sorry that, it's looking like this, but I'd rather get it done on time than, not. If that makes any sense. But whatever, let's get into the weekly recap matches. There were 2 matches not played this week. There was the Seattle Septiles versus the Rhode Island Riolas. The Rhode Island Riolas just didn't have time to play this week, which is unfortunate. They told me in advance, fortunately, so the Seattle Septiles got the 3-0 win. And then there was the Black Dragons versus the Perth Persians. And the Black Dragons messaged the Perth Persians a couple of times, who then replied 5 minutes before the deadline. So the 3-0 win went to the Black Dragons for that match. But enough about that, let's get into match 1 with the Guangzhou Gallades, Modern Erasmus, taking on Jazz and the Bristol City Burnets. I don't have a huge amount to say about this match. I'll talk about team preview first for every match, and then I'll talk about events that happened in the game. Team preview, let's just take a look at the team preview, okay? Terrakion and Mamaswine destroy the Bristol City Burnets. Literally destroy it. Terrakion beats the Mega Pidgeot, the Arcanine, the Greninja, and the Cobalion. Mamaswine beats the Mega Pidgeot, the Flygon, the Arcanine, Greninja, and Cobalion. I don't think Jazz brought the right team this week at all. Next up, though, on Jazz's side, Greninja has pretty much 0 switch-ins for the Guangzhou Gallades. Mamaswine's not taking any Water-type move, and Ice Beam is going to tear through Haxorus. Mimikyu is pretty frail. Slacking is probably the only thing, to be honest, with the fucking incredible stats that it has. Terrakion is not taking a Water-type move, and Skarmory is not going to take a Hydro Pump very well at all with that 70 base special defense. But yeah. Speaking of Greninja, though, let's get into the match. So about turn 5, I think it was, Greninja was in against it, maybe in the Terrakion, and he clicked Hydro Pump on the Terrakion. The Guangzhou Gallade swapped out their Terrakion into the Haxorus. This just screamed that the Haxorus was fucking scuffed. The Haxorus took about 38% from that Hydro Pump. It was down to about 62%. Ice Beam would have killed. It would have killed, and that's what Jazz is thinking. But the Guangzhou Gallades would have never have brought their Haxorus in at this point if they knew that they would have known, Hydro Pump plus Ice Beam is just going to kill us. It was screaming that it was Scarf, and Scarf is going to destroy a Greninja every day of the week. And the Bristol City Burnets decided to stay in with their Greninja and lost it to an outrage to a Haxorus, which wasn't a good play, Jazz. Greninja was his win con, and Greninja was dead turn 6. He was not looking in a good position from here. Since Haxorus clicked Outrage, though, he was locked into Outrage. So you'd think, well, what does Jazz have to take an Outrage? I know, the Cobalion. He can go into Cobalion and just click Close Combat or something like that, take out the Haxorus, because it's not taking a Close Combat from a Cobalion. Okay, he can't swap out his Haxorus. And Cobalion can just click Close Combat, but he doesn't. Turn 2 of Outrage, so Haxorus clicks Outrage again on Cobalion, and he sets up Rocks. Haxorus isn't confused, so it has another turn of Outrage, clicks it on Cobalion, and he clicks Swords Dance. Cobalion at this point is at about 44%, and it's... yeah. So, Guangzhou Gallades decide that they need their Haxorus, so they decide to swap out their Haxorus into the Skarmory at this point. The Cobalion clicks Sacred Sword, I think it is, whatever it's called, not Close Combat, the other one. And that takes out the Skarmory, who dies, takes 88% because they come on rocks and it's dead. But Cobalion has Life Orb, so Cobalion's now on 35%. When he could have been on about 70% and taken out the Haxorus. That just didn't make sense to me. And then the Mimikyu came in. And Jazz made one of the worst plays he's ever made in his life. The Mimikyu came in, at full health, 88% after rocks, with its disguise intact. And Jazz swaps out with his Cobalion. People, if you're going up against a Mimikyu, you break that disguise as quick as possible. Literally as quick as possible. It makes no sense for you to swap out on that occasion with Cobalion. It just doesn't. Because you weren't Scarf Cobalion, Terrakion was outspeeding you, Okay, well, what were you going to use it for? To take an outrage from a Haxorus? Haxorus was doing about 20% to you anyway, so you couldn't switch it into a Haxorus because it was dying. The play made zero sense to me whatsoever. This allowed the Mimikyu to set up a Swords Dance, and from here he lost, pretty much. He fucking lost. Mimikyu took out the Cresselia. Then, Jazz went into his Mega Pidgeot. Mimikyu cannot click Shadow Sneak against a Mega Pidgeot because it's normal and flying. Jazz should have clicked U-Turn at this point. He would have broken the sub, he would have got the fuck out of there, and he could have sacked off his Cobalion. Then he could have gone back into his Pidgeot and clicked Hurricane and killed the Mimikyu, but instead he just clicked Hurricane and died to the Mimikyu. Again, that made no sense. From here, Terrakion and Slaking were just able to come in and just overpower the Bristol City Pinettes. It was not a good match for Jazz, and he really showed a side of him that he doesn't want to be using. You know, he needs to get back to his old ways, how he played against Swag in week 1. He needs to go back to these ways, because if he's playing like this, he's not going to win. Next, we move on to match 2, and we have the Swag, speaking of Swag, the Green Bay Sandslash and Saigai with the Amsterdam Rams. Things I noticed from matchup, the major thing I noticed from matchup, is that there was nothing major at all in this matchup. By this, I mean literally nothing stood out at matchup. Everything beat something, but got beaten by something else. Everything had its counterpart. And this just let me know that this was going to be a really, really good match, and that's exactly what you can see. This was a fantastic match. Really good. It really came down to the wire, and even until the last move, you didn't know who was going to win. So yeah, to be honest, it's quite rare that you see a matchup where literally nothing can break through a team. You know, Xurkitree got walled by Zapdos and Seismitoad and Mega Venusaur. Chandelure gets walled by Heatran and Landorus T. You know, everything had its counterpart. It was really, really interesting to see. About turn 3, we have Heatran up against the Komo-O. The Komo-O had switched into a Flash Cannon from the Heatran. Heatran was obviously going to die to a fighting move, and Green Bay Sandslash decided that the Komo-O switch-in was a Gastrodon? This play did not make sense to me, because Gastrodon is not a Komo-O switch-in. Gastrodon took about 90% from a Focus Blast. Yeah, that made no sense. His Komo-O switch-in is Araquanid, 100% of the time. Yeah. That didn't make sense to me. Then a bit later on, he has his Zapdos in against, I believe it is the Azelf, and it was about turn 8 at this point. Okay, he had revealed no moves on his Zapdos, he hadn't revealed if his Zapdos was offensive or not, and he went for the Hidden Power Ice. I've got nothing against predictions. I love people making big plays like this, but it was just so early in the match that Swag was never going to swap his Landorus T in, because he had no idea what his Zapdos set was. And by revealing Hidden Power Ice about turn 8, you completely eliminate that surprise of Hidden Power. Because Green Bay Sandslash went into their Heatran, and the Hidden Power Ice did about 2% to it. So he just taken away all the surprise of Hidden Power. Landorus T was no longer a Zapdos switch, and he was never going to risk switching it in against the Zapdos, and just any surprise that he could have had with the Zapdos was just completely gone. I understand it was a big prediction to make, but it was very early on in the game, and I don't think you needed to make that prediction. But, you know, I'm not hating on you for making predictions. When people make predictions, it's great. You need predictions to win. You know, good players make predictions. It was just a bit too early for this prediction. If it had been about turn 15 or turn 20, when it was a lot closer, maybe like a 3v3 or something like that, then he may have tried to make the Landorus play to get the momentum. But it was just too early for Green Bay Sandslash to risk what could have been a potential win con if it was a double dance Landorus T or something like that. But yeah. But later on in the match, we had Seismitoad in on a Heatran. Heatran was on about 50%. Seismitoad was also on about 50%. Predicting the Earth Power, Green Bay Sandslash went into a Zelf, and the Amsterdam Rams, I believe, predicted this, or they were just going for the Scald for the sake of going for Scald, but they clicked Scald, and it took out the Azelf, who was on about 50%. Fucking lovely play. Azelf put on a ton of pressure to the Komo-O, to the Mega Venusaur, and a lot of things, and that was a really nice play. Just getting rid of the Azelf by clicking the very, very safe, but also good play of Scald. It was very nice, and I don't think Azelf was the switch-in. Again, I think Araquanid was alive at this point. I think Araquanid was the switch in there to the Seismitoad. Yeah, but a few times in the match we had Seismitoad against Heatran, and it was interesting not to see a grass move on the Heatran. I know Heatran has 4 slots. You're probably going to be running Flash Cannon, Lava Plume, Taunt, and Stealth Rocks, but I feel like he could have maybe swapped. I don't know if he had Taunt, but I'm fairly sure he had Stealth Rocks, and I know he had Lava Plume and Flash Cannon. I think he should have had Hidden Power Grass or Solar Beam or something like that, just for the Seismitoad, because the Seismitoad literally walled the Heatran every time it came in. Every single time it came in. And it was just not really what you wanted to see, to be honest, because the Heatran couldn't touch it. Green Bay Sound Slash lost all the momentum every time the Seismitoad came in. And it really slowed down the play a lot. Speaking of matchups, though, Venusaur versus Tran was a matchup that happened a lot. And Venusaur gets a nice move called Earthquake. I don't know if you know this. And that would have destroyed Heatran. It also would have destroyed Xurkitree. I think the set you should have ran this week was a slightly more offensive Venusaur, with obviously maybe special defense, max special defense, or just max HP, half attack, half special defense or something. Because Earthquake, let's just take a look at your potential options, okay? Seed Bomb, Earthquake, Leech Seed knockoff. You beat the Heatran, you beat the Azelf, you beat the Gastrodon, you beat the Xurkitree, you get rid of the Landorus T item. It would have been so much better than the set you tried to run this week, which was a very, very passive Venusaur set where you basically just click Leech Seed every time. And there was a point in the match where Xurkitree was in against the Mega Venusaur and he just clicked Leech Seed. He kept clicking Leech Seed. He missed the first Leech Seed. The Xurkitree stayed in and he went for Leech Seed again. He should have just gone for damage on the Xurkitree because the Xurkitree was obviously the Green Bay Sound Slash's win con. At this point, it had killed off the Zapdos, it revealed Dazzling Gleam, so the Como was not a switch-in, and Energy Ball Seismitoad's not a switch-in either. You should have killed the Xurkitree instead of trying to whittle it down, okay? That wasn't very good. But in the end, it came down to a few very close turns. So the Como had taken out the Arachnoid, the Landorus T, and the Heatran. The Xurkitree then came in and killed it with a Dazzling Gleam, so that showed that the Como wasn't max speed, because the Xurkitree wasn't scarred. If the Como was max speed, he would have outsped the Xurkitree and probably won. But I'm not having a go at him for not being max speed Como. You know, that's if he was modest Como, you know, he wants to do a lot with clanging scales. He was a special Como. So Xurkitree took out the Como with Dazzling Gleam. Mega Venusaur was burnt. There's a bit of back and forth, but a +1 Xurkitree clicking Hidden Power Ice. Mega Venusaur going for the Leech Seed and then the Giga Drain. Xurkitree was about 40%, Mega Venusaur was at about 50%. It looked like Mega Venusaur was about to win, and then he revealed the Electrium Z Gigavolt Havoc, which took out the Mega Venusaur. Fantastic prep. Fantastic play to get Venusaur low enough, you know. He could have just gone for it immediately and wasted it and potentially lost, but it was really, really nice of him to save it until he needed it, and that was really well played by Swag. It was a good match between them. They both showed what they're capable of. Perhaps the wrong set on Mega Venusaur, to be honest. I think if he'd gone for a more offensive EQ Seed Bomb knockoff set, he could have put in a fuck ton of work. But whatever, you know, whatever. He didn't really have an offensive... Yeah, all his Pokemon were special, so that was just something I noticed. Next, we have the Michigan Munchlax versus the North Italy Kyrems. Things I noticed from Team Preview. Where's the Mega Camera switching? Please, where's anything that can live one hit from the Mega Camera? Mega Diancie is dead to an Earth Power, Delphox is dead to an Earth Power, Ferrothorn is dead to a Fire Blast, Tentacle dead to an Earth Power, Galvantula dead to a Fire Blast. Eviolite Golbat is the only Mega Camera switching that he has. And even then, Ancient Power is going to be doing a lot. You know. And he loses that switch in turn 1. When Rotom-Mow is in against the Golbat turn 1 and Rotom-Mow clicks Trick. Fucking lovely play, Grey, the Michigan Munchlax. That was a fucking lovely play. Radiant is the North Italy Kyrems, by the way. That was a really nice play. Really, really nice play. I saw that play and it was one of those like satisfying plays you just see and you go like, ah, yes. But then turn 2, Galvantula in against Rotom-Mow. He clicks Trick again. What? He'd taken the Eviolite from the Golbat and then given it to the Galvantula. He should have just clicked Volt Switch on the Galvantula. That play made no sense. But the play that made even less sense was setting up Sticky Webs with Galvantula. Michigan Munchlax has a Trick Room team. That's very obvious. That's been said in the post-draft power rankings. That's been said a bunch of times. But let's look at the other things on Michigan Munchlax's team. Hydreigon has Levitate. Rotom-Mow has Levitate. Jellicent, Mega Camera, they want the less speed so they can go for Trick Room. Jirachi could also be a Trick Room set. Hitmontop doesn't need speed. You didn't need to go for Sticky Webs, you should have just gone for Bug Buzz. That play did not make sense to me. And then we see what was the most successful fuck-up I've ever seen in my life. During team prep, Michigan Munchlax had gone to put Earth Power on their Camerupt. and they had closed their eyes and clicked Earthquake. And they had Earthquake on their Mega Camerupt instead of Earth Power. Yep. This actually comes into effect a bit later on, as you see. So yeah, but also, like we said, the Golbat had lost its Eviolite turn 1, and at this point there was 0 Mega Camerupt switching. So he clicked Fire Blast to a Tentacruel, and it did, Golbat, and it did 75% to the Golbat. And then he took it out with an Ancient Power. And then Tentacruel came in, and we found out after the match that Tentacruel was fucking Assault Vest for an Earth Power Mega Camerupt. Earthquake Mega Camerupt did more to his team than Earth Powered would, and that was completely accidental. So the fucking Grey fucked up and managed to make it work. But whatever. He didn't take out the Tentacruel in the end with the Earthquake, but it stopped the Tentacruel being a Mega Camerupt switching. A bit later on the match, though, we did see a proper fuck-up, and that was when Mega Camerupt was outside of Trick Room against the Ferrothorn on about 45%. He was leech-seeded, and the Ferrothorn was at full health. Ferrothorn should have just clicked fucking anything. It should have clicked anything, any offensive move, just to get some damage on that Mega Camerupt. But instead he clicked Stealth Rock. Mega Camerupt killed the Ferrothorn with Fire Blast. Let's say he had Power Whip or something like that, and he clicked it. Okay, he could have done, well, it's neutral, maybe about 20% to the Camerupt. So Camerupt would have been on 25%, not 45%. He may have missed his Fire Blast potentially. He would have lost 12% more to the Leech Seed and been on about 10%. And then you could have clicked another move again and it would have been dead. That was a very big misplay from you. And then finally, at the end of the game, we see that the Hydreigon was in fact Scarf with Levitate. Webs did not matter. He had Flash Cannon. He was able to take out the Mega Diancie. That was that game. Michigan Munchlax had all the momentum the whole game. It was pretty much safe to say. That was that match. Next we move on to the Moon Division. California Charizard taking on Yami and the Miami Heatmores. California Charizard is continuing his run of dominating people. Team preview. Again, offensive Roserade had the potential to put in a fucking ton of work. Mega Altaria dies to a Sludge Bomb, Donphan dies to a Giga Drain, Slowbro dies to a Giga Drain, Electric gets screwed over by a Sludge Bomb. It was just something I noticed 2 weeks in a row that especially an offensive Roserade could have put in a ton of work. But let's get into the match, okay? It's quite funny to be able to see about 3 turns in the Registeel against the Slowbro. After the Tapu Fini put his Misty Terrain up, and then Raptor went for a Toxic on the Slowbro, and obviously it didn't work for Misty Terrain. That was just quite amusing to see, you're just getting screwed over by your own Misty Terrain. If that had been later in the match and that had screwed him, it would have been like, oh shit, man. But it was turn 3, the Slowbro couldn't really touch the Registeel anyway, so it made no difference. It was just amusing to see. It was just one of those, like, things. We did see at one point there was the Tapu Fini in against the Donphan, and Raptor had his rocks up against the Miami Heatmores. And predicting the Rapid Spin, he sets up a substitute with the Tapu Fini. I fucking loved that play. That play was so nice. He was able to put a huge amount of defensive pressure on the Donphan. Surf took it really low, etc. Just some really nice plays. It's just plays like that which give you all the momentum and put the pressure on your opponent and just let you sit back and not have to think so hard about things. But it was nice. It was a really nice play from Raptor and the California Charizard. But there was a very important moment later in the match. Mega Tyranitar. This was some fantastic prep from California Charizard and some poor prep from Yami. Mega Tyranitar came in, had the Sand up against the Slowbro. Okay. Click Substitute against the Slowbro. And the Scold from the Slowbro could not break the Substitute. It was a max special defense, max HP Tyranitar, and an uninvested Scold from Slowbro could not break a sub from T-Tar. That allowed T-Tar literally to set up and win in the match, pretty much. Great play from Raptor, great prep from Raptor, misprep from the Miami Heatmores and Slowbro. They should have put enough investment into that special attack to ensure that a max special defense Tyranitar could not sub up on a Slowbro, because that just lost in the match from there. But another fucking misplay from Miami Heatmores. He let Slowbro go down, he let Donphan go down, and then, he let Slowbro go down, he let Mega Altaria then go down, and then he brought in his Electrode. Electrode outspeeds the Mega Tyranitar. The Mega Tyranitar had its substitute broken at this point, and it was on 45%. He clicks Thunderbolt. This does about 17%, I think, to the Mega T-Tar. Mega T-Tar then takes out the Electrode with Crunch and dies to Aftermath. Miami Heatmore didn't need to sack off their Mega Altaria. he could have killed it with the electrode, with the aftermath. You know, that was a poor play from them. That really was a poor play from them. But other than that, the setup with the T-Tar basically just won it for them. Then Roserade killed off the Tornadus Eye with a Sludge Bomb, so Valley died to the superpower from an M-Ball. Yeah, that was that match. Not a huge amount to say to that match. It was just a very dominant performance from Raptor and the California Charizard again for the second week in a row. Now we have the Florida Fire Alligators versus the Kentucky Fried Combustion. This was not a fun match to watch, guys. This just wasn't a fun match to watch. There was nothing special at matchup. Everything was matched by something else, pretty much. But there was a lot to say about the actual match itself. Turn 1. Kentucky Fried Combustion lead with their Bronzong for lessons. Florida for Alligators lead with their Mega Absol. Bronzong, what? What are you doing? He stays in with his Bronzong and lets it go down to a knockoff from a Mega Absol. What? If he had been Colberberry Bronzong, that would have been amazing. You know, Colberberry Bronzong, click Gyro Ball, Mega Absol dead, turn 1. But no, he just lets his Bronzong die turn 1 to a Mega Absol. Yeah, that play didn't make sense. It's not like he was going to click Swords Dance with his Mega Absol because Gyro Ball was obviously going to kill. It's not like you could have stayed in and clicked Stealth Rocks because he's got Magic Bounce. Like, what was that play? Turn 1, he lost his only check to a Coil Zygarde, really. Turn 1, and it was gone, just like that. Like, fuck, lol, rip. And then turn 2, what are you doing, Doric? Dusky is Florida for Alligators, and Doric is the Kentucky Fried Combustion. Turn 2, so after his Bronzong dies, he goes into Sableye. Mega's up. No, he doesn't. He swaps straight into his Avalugg. What? Mega Absol just clicks Sword Stance at this point. I mean, what are you going to do? It's not like you're going to be able to Will-O-Wisp him, okay? It's not like your Ghost moves are going to be doing anything to him. He's got Magic Bounce. What? I'm trying to understand that. Okay. Allowed him to set up with his Mega Absol. Oh, fuck, dude. Knockoff with Mega Absol at +2 only did 47% to an Avalugg, which took out the Mega Absol next that turn with an Avalanche. That was quite interesting to see. Like, shit, dude. Then Katana comes in against the Avalugg. Predicting the Steel move, he goes into Chestnut, the Kentucky Fried Combustion, and Katana clicks Sword Stance. Katana then reveals the Aerial Ace and kills the Chestnut, which was lovely prep. Then Volcanion came in. The way he brought in Volcanion made it obvious it was Scarfed. Well, maybe not obvious, but for me, when I was watching the match, I was like, that's Scarf. And he stays in with his Katana and lets it die to his Volcanion. Okay. Few things wrong with this, okay. Firstly, it was fairly obvious it was Scarf. You should have just gone into your Floor just walled the Volcanion 100% of the time. Your Katana could have taken on things such as the Chansey or the Avalugg, things like that, and you just let it die instantly. Second thing, if he had been the speed boosting Katana set, okay, there is a set with Katana. It's a timid 19 IVs in attack, no investment in attack. Katana, max speed. Your speed is greater than your attack. You get the speed boost if you kill people, okay? But your attack is still 348. And he had a Sword Stance up. It would have been fucking... And at 347, it would have been 694 attack, okay? And he would have been at +1. He would have just won from there. He would have fucking won. It would have been game over. Literally, he would have won. If he had brought that set, that would have been amazing. I know it's sort of like those very temperamental sets that only work in certain situations, but if he had had it this match, it would have been game over, because he would have been at +2 and +1 speed, and it would have been so good to see. That's just a tip for you in the future, Dusky. If you didn't know that, I imagine you do, because you're a very good battler. But yeah, if you run timid, max speed Katana with 19 EVs and attack, your attack is 347 and your speed is 348. So you get the speed boost from the Beast Boost Katana. Then, for the next fuck knows how long, it was pretty much just a stool war, you know? Floor just came in, Chansey came in to beat that, the Mega Sableye, Conkeldurr then came in, and Mega Sableye swapped into that, blah, until turn 28, when Zygarde had 2 coils up. It was at +2 attack, +2 defense. Avalugg was in, and he clicked Avalanche, and got a crit on the Zygarde, killing it. If there wasn't a crit, that would not have killed. And that changed the game. Well, it seemed like it could have changed the game completely at that point, because the Zygarde would have been able to just sweep through the Kentucky Fried Combustion's team at that point. And he got a crit with the Avalugg, beating the Zygarde, and it probably would have been a 4-0 if he hadn't got that crit. But then, as we see from the next fucking 20-30 odd turns, it didn't matter. Kentucky Fried Combustion could not touch the Florges with anything on their team. They had the Mega Sableye, the Chansey, the Volcanion, and the Avalugg left. And Conkeldurr, just swapping in and out Florges into Conkeldurr, back into Florges, back into Conkeldurr, yeah. Conkeldurr was eventually able to set up to +6 with bulk ups, and it was able to win from there. So that was that match. It was not an enjoyable match to watch, I'm going to be honest, guys. That was a proper time stall match if this was 3DS, but whatever. The final match of the week, we see the newly appointed fitness trainer Joey taking on from Hitmontop Guy against the Metagross Masters Afonso. Team preview. Scarf Infernape destroys the Honolulu Hitmontops. Literally. I know I said last week Scarf Infernape was not the right set to bring. This week it 100% was. 100%. Because firstly, you beat the Manectric, unless it's Scarf, and if it's Scarf you get some very good intel. You beat the Fortress, you beat the Sylveon, but you beat the Megalophony and you beat the Weavile. A high jump kick from Megalophony is just going to tear through an Infernape. Simple. I mean, that's that. Scarf Infernape would have been really nice to see. But yeah, that was team preview. Let's get into the match. Oh no, another thing for tier 3 review. Offensive Sylveon. Where is your switch-ins? Metagross Masters? Where? Infernape? No. Manaphy? No. Nidoqueen? Not really. Umbreon? No. Mega Aerodactyl? No. Gorgeist? No. 0 offensive Sylveon switch-ins. Literally 0. And we see this very early on. Turn 6, Sylveon is in against, I think it's the Manaphy. Metagross Masters swap into their Gorgeist Super. Okay. They frisk the Pixie Plate, so they see it is an offensive Sylveon, and it takes 80% from a Hyper Voice. That is not a switch-in to a Sylveon. Okay. And then turn 7, he should have sacked off his Gorgeist. But then he swaps into his Infernape. What is he doing? His Infernape went down turn 7 to another Hyper Voice. It was dead, just like that. What is that play? I do not understand that play. His walls, in inverted commas, of Gorgeist and Umbreon do not wall the Sylveon. Okay? If you're running some walls, you have to make sure you can wall all the offensive threats on your opponent's team. Okay? And they do not. If you see your opponent's got a Sylveon and you think an offensive Sylveon can tear through your team, stick Assault Vest on something. You could have run like an Assault Vest Sheer Force Nidoqueen. That could have worked very easily. Because it would have been able to take on the Blastoise, would have been able to take on the Manectric, would have been able to take on the Sylveon. But that's just that. Yeah, literally every time Sylveon came in, the Metagross Masters lost all their momentum, and it was just able to click Hyper Voice, and something was taking a fuckload of damage. But eventually the Honolulu Hitmontops sack off their Sylveon to the Nidoqueen, which was a shame, because they could have kept it around and brought it in against something like the Manaphy, and just put in a fuck ton of work. Yeah, that was that. The match was just really Sylveon whittling down everything, and him getting hazards up with his Fortress as well. He got one Stealth Rock, he got Stealth Rocks up and one layer of spikes. So everything was normally taking 24%, really. That, along with basically having no switch-ins for Sylveon, just meant the Metagross Masters had to switch in and out, taking damage, blah 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 blah. And we saw at the end of the match, it was I think a 2-on-3. Okay, Honolulu Hitmontops had Megalophony. No, it was a 3-on-3. Megalophony, Weavile, Manectric, and the Metagross Masters had their Manaphy, Gorgeist, and Mega Aerodactyl. Except Manaphy was on about 30%, so it was going to be on about 6% when it came onto hazards. Aerodactyl was on about 80%. Gorgeist was on about 21%, so it was going to die to hazards. Honolulu Hitmontops bringing their Weavile, and they click Ice Shard. At first I was like, what the fuck is this play? And this does a ton of damage to the Aerodactyl, bringing it down to 8%, and the Aerodactyl kills the Weavile. I was like, what? Yeah? But then Honolulu Hitmontops reveal a really nice piece of prep. Quick Attack, Lopunny. It's not often you see that, or say that. Quick Attack, Lopunny takes out the Mega Aerodactyl, takes out the Manaphy, and Gorgeist dies to hazards. So that was that. Metagross Masters did not have a lot of momentum the whole time. What lost it for them this week was having no Sylveon switch-ins whatsoever. They also didn't have a spinner to get rid of the hazards, really. It just wasn't very good on their behalf. There was nothing wrong with their plays, to be honest. But in terms of prep, they should have ran, in my opinion, an Assault Vest Nidoqueen or something, or just a wall that could take on a Sylveon. But yeah, that was the match. This has been the Week 2 weekly recap for the PCL D-League. Thanks for watching, guys. Leave your comments below on what you thought, or if I got anything wrong, please correct me. And I'll see you guys next week. Peace.